हेलो गाइस, वेलकम बैक टू माय चैनल फाइनेंशियल लेसन्स विद संजय जलकारे। और मैंने लास्ट टाइम आपके साथ फाइनेंशियल लेसन नंबर 1 फ्रॉम द बुक थिंक एंड ग्रो रिच रिटन बाय नेपोलियन हिल मैंने आपके साथ शेयर किया था। दैट इज़ द पावर ऑफ थॉट। सो मैंने आपके साथ शॉर्ट स्टोरी नंबर 1 शेयर करी थी। सो आज मैं आपके साथ शॉर्ट स्टोरी नंबर 2 शेयर करने जा रहा हूँ। सो द लेसन नंबर 2 का नाम है शॉर्ट स्टोरी का नाम टाइटल है अ 50 सेंट्स लेसन इन परसिस्टेंस। Shortly after Mr. Hardy received his degree from the University of Hard Knocks and had decided to profit by his experience in the gold mining business, he had the good fortune to be present on an occasion that proved to him that no does not necessarily mean no. One afternoon, he was helping his uncle grind wheat in an old-fashioned mill. The uncle operated a large farm on which a number of sharecrop farmers lived. Quietly, the door was opened, and a small child, the daughter of a tenant, walked in and took her place near the door. The uncle looked up, saw the child, and barked at her roughly. "What do you want?" Meekly, the child replied, "My mamma says send her 50 cents." "I will not do it," the uncle retorted. "Now you run on home." "Yes, sir," the child replied, but she did not move. The uncle went ahead with his work. So busily engaged, he did not notice that the child had not left. When he looked up and saw her still standing there, he yelled at her, "I told you to go on home. Now go or I will take a switch to you." The little girl said, "Yes, sir," but she did not budge an inch. The uncle dropped a sack of grain he was about to pour into the mill hopper, picked up a barrel stave, and started towards the child with an expression on his face that indicated trouble. Darby held his breath. He was certain he was about to witness a murder. He knew his uncle had a fierce temper. When the uncle reached the spot where the child was standing, she quickly stepped forward one step, looked up into his eye, and screamed at the top of her shrill voice, "My mamma gotta have that 50 cents." The uncle stopped, looked at her for a minute, then slowly laid the barrel stave on the floor, put his hand in his pocket, took out a half a dollar and gave it to her. The child took the money and slowly backed towards the door, never taking her eyes off the man whom she had just conquered. After she was gone, the uncle sat down on a box and looked out the window into space for more than 10 minutes. He was pondering with you on the whipping he had just taken. Mr. Darby too was doing some thinking. That was the first time in all his experience that he had seen the child of a sharecropper deliberately master an adult's authority figure. How did she do it? What happened to his uncle that caused him to lose his fierceness and become docile as a lamb? What strange power did this child use that made her master over her superior? These, these, uh, these and other similar questions flashed into Darby's mind, but he did not find the answer until years later, when he told the story. Strangely, the story of the unusual experience was told to the author in the old mill, on the very spot where the uncle took his whipping. As we stood there in this musty old mill, Mr. Darby repeated the story of the unusual conquest and finished by asking, "What can you make of it? What strange power did that child use so completely whipped my uncle?" The answer to his question, the answer is full as complete. सो जैसे कि आपने ये स्टोरी सुनी, इस स्टोरी के अकॉर्डिंग इसमें जो लिटिल गर्ल थी वो इतनी डिस्परेट थी वो पैसे पाने के लिए कि उसके अंदर ना सुनने के बाद भी उसने हार नहीं मानी। और जब उसके अंदर कहीं से साइकोलॉजिकल थॉट जैसे ऐसे मैनिफेस्टेशन हुई उसकी आवाज़ में कि मिस्टर जो हट्टा कट्टा आदमी था उसको भी उसकी बात से डर लग गया और उसको भी बात माननी पड़ी। सो यही है इसमें द पावर ऑफ थॉट का यही लेसन इसमें समझाने की कोशिश करिए कि आप कभी हार मत मानिए और कोई भी काम है अपना कॉन्फिडेंस से करिए। सो अगर आपको ये स्मॉल शॉर्ट स्टोरी पसंद आए तो प्लीज़ लाइक एंड सब्सक्राइब। थैंक यू।